I want them to feel like music is something they can use to express themselves, whether they're singing or playing an instrument or talking about music or like putting on a song that they like because they want to feel something. Like I want them to be able to use music as a way to get their voice out. And I think part of that means they need to understand music and they need to understand how it works. We play a lot of classical music because I feel like a lot of kids just immediately think classical music is boring and they just don't know how to listen to it and they don't have the vocabulary. So that's part of what I want to show them. Like this person chose the way, they chose this music to be loud because they wanted to show you something, you know? So I want them to learn how to listen to music with an informed ear too. Just so they can see other people telling their stories through music, and that gives them like a starting place to tell their own stories.
My desire to become a teacher originated from seeing my mom teach. She's not a teacher by profession, but she's a natural teacher and has always used that gift with preschoolers. When I got old enough, I started helping her work with them, and it was there that I discovered the joy of being a part of a child's learning and knowing that I played a part in that. I think my favorite thing about being a teacher is getting to be a part of a child's growth through the year. It's amazing to see the effect that meeting a goal or doing something hard for the first time has on their self-confidence, and I love getting to be a gatekeeper to that transformation. I think one of my biggest dreams for them is that they leave my classroom with experiences that propel them into success in the rest of their lives. I want them to leave my 4th grade class with a deep sense of achievement and pride in what they've accomplished, and that carries with them through the rest of their lives.
My favorite part of being a teacher is probably I guess we call it the light bulb, when the light bulb goes off. When we're doing different skills and you've got a couple of children that that one skill has eluded them for so long, and then they finally hit the hockey puck in, or they get a spare or a strike in bowling, and it's just like winning the lottery. My whole goal is to give them experiences any way that I can, and that carries on, that they know that there is more outside of their classroom or their neighborhood. We had a tennis club, and some of the kids had never held a tennis racket. And to me, that's just baffling. So I want my kids to know, like, there's something beyond their neighborhood, their classroom. There's a big world out there, and I want them to be part of it.
You know, since I've started teaching, I could probably count on one hand the number of homes that were split homes, and now I would say it's more like 50%. And the students have to struggle with so much beyond the classroom. There are just so many issues they deal with in the world we live in. I want to see them be successful in life, and I want to help them in whatever way I can. They need to know that we're interested in them beyond the room, the classroom, that we're interested in them as a person. And I think that's very, very important. We don't have to be their best buddy, but we need to have that connection. We need to see them and let them know that they're important in every aspect of life. And I know that they appreciate that and they see that. And they notice when I show up at a track meet or a football game or a soccer game, it's like they'll see me way off. You know, it's like, wow, you came to our game. I said, why did you do that? Well, I'm interested in you, in what you're doing and what you're pursuing in other avenues of your life. So I think that's the most important point to give.
A moment that's really stuck with me so far from teaching, and I think that's really helped me on a daily basis, is last spring break I was at the library. I am checking out my book and I hear behind me a voice go, "Do you remember me?" And I turn around and it's a student I taught from my first year, and recognize him instantly. He, unprompted, just said the most wonderful things. And this was a student who, you know, he apologized. He said, "I'm really sorry for the way I was in 7th grade. I know I talked too much in class." And here he was on his own, just taking responsibility and ownership and really wanting to put his best face forward. And that moment for me, running into a former student, was, I think, the most important reminder for middle school especially, that when we teach them, it is not who they are, it is someone they're becoming. And so when we're working with them, or when that same behavior repeats, or when you want to hit that frustration point, that's been a really important reminder for me that this is not the end of the road for them. They are not going to be done at the end of the year. It's our job to progress them, and it's our job to see them for who they can become in the future.
My favorite part of being a teacher is getting to see the kids grow. I have a really unique position where I teach 5th through 8th grade, and I see them every year if they stick with me. So I take them from not knowing how to play an instrument to mastering it by 8th grade. And now I have started a program at the school that we feed into, Hillwood High School, so I can potentially see them through 12th grade as well. My first class of 5th graders are now 9th graders, and a lot of them are at Hillwood with me, and it's just really cool to see them. They've changed into beautiful young women and young men, and they're responsible, and they are not the little 5th graders that they used to be. My number one goal as an instrumental music teacher is to give them independence with music. I want to give them the tools that will allow them to play music for the rest of their lives. They don't need me at some point. They can keep going on their own. They can keep working and playing music and enjoying music for the rest of their lives. It doesn't matter, if they're doing it professionally. I just want them to have the same passion and love for music that I have.
My favorite part is the interacting with the kids. I love when I go do community service with them, or if I am standing in the hall in between classes and a kid comes and is like, I got accepted to this school, That's my favorite part, developing relationships with kids, letting them know I care about them as a person. It's not all about, to me, the teaching part. I hope I teach by example, but it's not all about standing up in front of a group of kids and saying I know it all, because I don't know it all. I hope that they see that I care about them. That's definitely one of my major hopes, that they know that I care. I hope that they always remember how important it is that they serve other people and contribute to society. It's more than just them being successful and making a bunch of money. So I hope that they realize that, and I hope that they are successful. That's all I can hope for them,
Work is about more than picking up a paycheck. Work is about finding a calling, and that work having meaning. And so I knew that I wanted, in some way, to find something where my work would have meaning. And I toyed with a couple of things while I was an undergraduate. I thought about youth ministry, and I thought about getting involved in politics. But ultimately, I felt strongly that teaching was the way that I was going to be able to make the biggest impact. I loved showing up to work every day because I get to be involved in the lives of some incredible students. I've always loved history, and relaying that content and those skills are great, but just getting to be a part of so many students' lives is a thing I enjoy. I truly love getting up and driving down Broadway and coming into work at this building.
My parents really instilled in me from a child the importance of education. My parents, they were very hard workers, but they did not go to college. But they wanted something better for their child. And so they instilled in us the importance of going on ahead and getting your education and making something out of your life. So it started there. When I was small, I would also teach my younger sisters and brothers. I would line them up and play like I was a teacher. So I already knew I wanted to be a teacher when I was very, very small. My favorite part of being a teacher is when I have students come back to me and say, hey, Miss Moore, when I was in your class, I wasn't quite getting what you were telling me, but as I got older, I understand the importance of what you were teaching me. Can you help me make a resume again? Or can you teach me this again? Or that student that comes back and now they are teaching, or a student that comes back and they've gone on to college because of some of the things that I've taught them in the classroom.